Now you're living with your father.
Yes, I am.
And the other makes the best of it.
I live with my ex-husband after being separated for 5 years.
Must like him again.
Yeah, he's my husband.
I never heard that before. Look, at my age, I learned a new word.
This is Judge Judy. Cheryl Coljatt is suing her sister, Carla Young, for stealing her furniture from a storage unit.
Judge, this is case number 74 on the calendar in the matter of Coljatt versus Young. Parties have been sworn in. Sir, have a seat.
Thank you. Ms. Coljatt, the defendant is your sister, and it is your claim that she disposed of property that belongs to you that was being stored in a storage unit that she rented.
Yes.
I have a few questions before I get to the facts of what was in the unit and how your stuff got to be there. Preliminary questions. Ms. Young, how do you support yourself?
I work as a paralegal for a law firm.
Do you have a family, or do you live alone?
I live with my ex-husband.
Must like him again.
Yeah, he's my husband. He was my husband.
Was your husband? I never heard that before. Look, at my age, I learned a new word. Okay. Tell me when you rented the storage units and why.
I rented a store 5 years ago because there wasn't enough room in the house for my stuff with his stuff there.
So you moved back with him?
I moved back in with him after being separated for 5 years.
Okay. And you took one storage unit or two?
I took one storage unit and put all my stuff in that storage unit.
How did it come to pass that you took a second storage unit?
In December of 2018, my sister was leaving a temporary residential arrangement and needed a place to put her stuff, so I rented a unit to store her stuff in.
Okay. Did your sister ask you to rent a storage unit?
Yes.
And you put it in your name?
Yes, it was connected with my first storage unit. So if I missed a payment on the second storage unit, they would default my first unit.
Well, I don't know that. And you don't have anything, I assume, that suggests that. Ms. Coljatt.
Yes.
From what I read in your papers, much of what your sister says is accurate. That's what you say. Most of your big items took up a second storage unit.
No, ma'am. They took up about two-thirds of that storage unit. She had her own furniture in that storage unit also. I did not have the whole storage unit, and I did not rent it in December. I moved out in January 17th.
January?
I'm on SSI. I'm disabled. And I live with my dad, and I care for my dad, our dad.
Well, why did your furniture have to be in storage? What kind of temporary facility?
I was living in Boise, Idaho at the time, and my roommate was not paying rent, and so we were evicted. In January 17th of 2019, I had to move out, and it was January 17th of 2019, not December.
Were you paying rent?
Yes, I was.
Okay, and now you're living with your father?
Yes, I am, and I'm paying rent there, too.
Is it in your father's house?
Yes, it is. It is my father's house.
You have to let me finish my question.
Yes, ma'am.
It's your father's house. And you said you were living there to take care of him. That's what you said a moment ago.
That, yes.
That you were there taking care of him. And is what you want me to believe that you're taking care of him and he's charging you rent?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Do you get any money for taking care of him?
No, I do not.
How old is he?
83.
And what do you do to take care of him?
I feed him, I cook his meals, I give him his medication, I make sure he takes his insulin. I get him up in the morning, I help him get dressed.
Well, it sounds as if you're pretty capable. Did anybody else do that before you moved in?
No, ma'am, he's progressively getting...
Anything about your sister's living arrangements with your father?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and let's go back to, was anybody helping your father before she moved in January of last year?
He had services through the VA and had a home health care nurse that would come by the house.
Of course.
But Cheryl did not like that home health care nurse.
No, that's incorrect.
Don't speak. Okay. He had some help through the VA.
Yes.
And a home health care nurse.
Not a nurse.
When your sister moved in, other than your sister, does anybody else assist him?
Her daughter Skylar was living there as well. I don't remember when Skylar moved in.
Is she still there?
No, she moved out.
A year ago.
Don't speak when I'm not looking in your direction.
Your Honor, she did make a misstatement with regard to her furniture.
No, I'm going to get to the furniture in a second. I have another train that I'm taking down the road right now. Do you know if your sister is compensated from either the VA or from Medicare for giving your father assistance?
I believe she is not. I do not know.
Do you know if your father is eligible for home health care aid?
I do not.
Do you speak to your father?
Yes, I do.
Is your father charging your sister rent?
No, he is not. She is paying the cell phone bill and with her food stamps.
Does that sound accurate to you?
Not quite. He has a nurse come in once a month from the VA. An RN comes in once a month from the VA, and she does his meds and takes blood work and stuff like that once a month. And when I first started going there, he had a nurse's aide come in from a home health place, and she would come in and visit with him and wet mop the kitchen floor.
What about
lie about
food?
her hours.
What about food?
I
And
purchased
cell
food
phone.
with food stamps and cash.
And cell phone.
I spend about $250 a month on food. I get $116 a month in food
I'm asking
stamps.
you about rent.
The agreement with my dad is that I would pay the phone bill and purchase food in lieu of rent.
That
equals
$400
$400
the
a
answer.
month.
The answer is you pay the phone bill and food, some of which you pay for in cash and some of which you pay for in food stamps, but you do not pay rent.
Okay.
Okay. And the person that would come in and see your dad when you moved in, and you said lie about her hours.
Yes, she was there for half the
That
time she
suggests
claimed.
I'm
sorry.
somebody was paying for the hours. Was
Dad.
paying for the hours.
My dad was paying it.
From what?
From his retirement and his disability. The VA would send him a bill monthly, and they started garnishing his money.
For the hours that she claimed to work?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just getting the lay of the land here. Okay. Now, let us assume that you are telling me accurately that your storage stuff only took up 2/3 of the storage unit. How much was the storage unit a month?
$103 a month.
And show me proof that you paid 2/3 of that over a period of
I only made one
a
payment.
year and a half.
I only made one payment.
You made one payment of how much?
$103.
Okay. And in what month and year did you make that one payment?
May of 2020. She didn't ask me to start paying for the unit until my birthday, November 29th, 2019, is when she asked me to start paying for the unit. And at that time, she said that I could...
So why didn't you...
Can I finish, please?
So why didn't you start paying?
Because I live on a limited
stuff.
income, and I couldn't afford to pay her. And she knew this.
Then get rid of it. Okay, then get rid of it. So this is the situation. You didn't pay for the unit. If you paid for it for 1 month
never agreed
out of
on a
18 months,
price.
that means you didn't then get her stuff out of the unit or start to pay for it. Was that in November of 2019?
No, it was before that. We had this discussion when the unit was rented in December, and the furniture was moved in there when she left her previous rental before she moved in with the guy that kicked her out in January.
He didn't kick me out.
When did
He was evicted.
In what month did you tell her
December
that you were getting rid of her
12th,
stuff?
2020. Oh, when I was getting rid of her stuff, I told her in April that part of her stuff had been moved to my granddaughter's house as she had abandoned the storage unit for not making payments.
What stuff had been moved to your granddaughter's house?
A queen-size bed with the metal frame that the box spring sits on.
Okay, just a second. So a bed? What else?
A bed, a sofa, an end table, and a cocktail table with 4 stools that pull out. It's like a round coffee table, and a dresser.
Okay, and your granddaughter is using that?
She is
I assume
using
that's
them.
why you moved it there.
She is using them.
And what did you leave in the storage unit?
Everything else. Furniture
What's
that
everything
had
else?
no value. Oh, there's also a TV that's at my granddaughter's house. She had a blue
Are
chair.
you still? Is that in the storage unit?
That's in the storage unit. She had boxes of clothes, boxes of dishes, tons of miscellaneous
just 1
items.
second. So my question to you is, you must...
The unit in June of 2020, rented a U-Haul and drove one way to Payette and delivered all of the remaining items in the storage unit to my dad's garage by unloading the unit when I got there with no help by my sister.
Okay. And up until June of 2020, did you pay for that storage unit?
Yes, I did.
Not consistently.
I was the only one paying it. I have invoices and receipts that go back several months So I paid. I was the only
like
one
to see
that
them.
made the payments until April. She did make a
Except-
$200 payment in April besides the $103 in May.
And you gave my stuff away.
Yes, she did. She
Without
gave
warning.
it to...
She did not tell me she was going to do that. I did not find out she gave my
Well,
furniture
let's-
away until
let's-
June 11th.
Let's do this. We can make this better in either one of two ways.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
Everybody has a reason for not having insurance. The dog ate the bill. My 5-year-old flushed it down the toilet. Everybody has a reason for not having insurance. And unfortunately, I've heard them all. So I'm not interested in yours.
Cheryl stole her furniture from a storage unit. Carla is countersuing for the cost of the unit.
Now, we can make this better in either one of two ways. Either she can give you back the furniture
I would like that
when
very
you
much.
pay her for the storage unit.
I don't owe what she says I owe.
Listen to me. I'm making a decision now.
Okay.
This is not a parlor talk. This is
I
not
know
a
I
parlor
owe
talk.
her money.
This is now decision. This is not time for you to speak anymore. This is me telling you that you can have this used furniture back that's been in storage, that's now being used. You're living with your father. Your father, I assume, has a perfectly furnished house. But you have to pay her the amount of the storage unit, which I believe is $1,700. Now, if you're prepared to pay her the $1,700, you pay her the $1,700. I'm going to direct that she hire a U-Haul, take the furniture from her granddaughter's house, and put it in your father's garage, if that's what you want. But you have to pay her $1,700.
Your Honor.
Say nothing. Do you personally want to pay her for the furniture?
Not what she's asking, because I didn't have the whole storage unit. She had stuff in that storage unit. A lot of stuff in that storage unit. Why do I have to pay for the whole unit?
You're not paying for the whole unit. She's asking for $1,900.
That's the whole in the whole unit. She had stuff in that unit also. Big stuff in that
I
unit.
understand. How much do you want to pay her?
About
You tell me.
$1,100.
Fine. Now, I will direct that when you pay her $1,100 within 5 days, you don't need more than 5 days to pay her. If you have the $1,100, she is to rent a U-Haul and bring the furniture back to your father's house. Is that what you
pay her.
want?
Yes.
Fine. That's the order. We'll draft it. We're done. Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
I'm her big sister.
We're family.
It's always been my job to help take care of my younger siblings
Everybody blocked me and stopped talking to me.
since I was a little kid.
I think it's pretty sucky.
I'm not sure. I think our
I don't know.
relationship has been tenuous for a while,
I hope so.
and I don't see it improving right now.
That we could get back together.
Just one day at a time.
All parties in the matter of Andrade versus Etalai. Step to the podium, please.
Martha Andrade is suing fellow motorist Faribos Etalai for an accident in a megastore parking lot.
Miss Andrade, you and the defendant were involved in an automobile accident in a parking lot in March of this year. Each of you claimed that it was the fault of the papers. Is that at the time of the accident, you had no insurance. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Well, that is a huge problem for you.
It is a huge problem, but I
Because-
can explain what happened.
Well, I don't care why you didn't have insurance, because everybody has a reason for not having insurance. The dog ate the bill. I didn't see it. My 5-year-old flushed it down the toilet. I didn't get it because I moved. Everybody has a reason for not having insurance, and unfortunately, I've heard them all, so I'm not interested in yours.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Why do you think this accident was his fault? I mean, I see the damage to her car, and I see the damage to your car. What I don't see is the lanes there. What were you doing in this red zone?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Martha Andrade says fellow motorist Faribos Etalai ran into her car in a megastore parking lot.
Now, bottom line is you had this accident with the defendant in a parking lot. You exchanged information on the date of the accident. The defendant's car, by the way, was totaled. Is that right?
Correct. Yes, Your Honor.
He had a totaled car. You were driving what kind of a car and what year, sir?
Mercedes-Benz 2010.
And how much did the insurance company give you for it?
They paid $5,500 to the body shop, and I paid $2,500 too to take care of the fixing the car.
Okay. In any event, you're here today, Miss Andrade, because you've not only had to pay to fix your own car, but you got a letter from collections from his insurance company that you owe $8,500.
A little bit more than that, Your Honor.
Okay, so now, why do you think this accident was his fault?
I was going to Costco, and he was parked on the red zone. I have evidence of everything. He don't supposed to park there.
Just a second.
Yes.
Okay, so he was stopped in a red zone, and?
So I was driving by to get a parking spot, and all of a sudden I just felt stunned on my car. I'm like, what happened? I think he started driving at the same time, and that's when he hit me.
Oh, show me the evidence of what you have. I'm just curious.
Your Honor, I have my picture also, if you're interested.
He says his car was completely towed.
He didn't say it was totaled. He said it was undrivable.
As a matter of fact.
Okay. As you can see here, his car is parallel to hitting my car. It wasn't me that hit him. I was passing by. There was only a little scratch on his car.
No.
This is what happened to my car.
And
this is what happened to his car. Can you tell me why would this be?
Just a second. So what you're saying is you were driving by, and he went into you.
Yes.
He was saying he was stopped. You tried to get by him, and your cars collided. Is that what you're going to tell me?
Yes, Your Honor.
You want to show me a picture?
I have a picture.
You want to show me a picture?
Yes, sir. This is one of the picture.
I got it. I mean, I see the damage to her car, and I see the damage to your car. What I don't see is the lanes there. What were you doing in this red zone?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
What were you doing in this red zone?
I was waiting for a space to park my car, and suddenly I realized that, I got hit, and I was shocked.
Just a second. So you were standing still waiting for a spot? Your car wasn't moving?
No, and she was crossing or passing, something like that, which I got hit. I have a couple more pictures if you're interested.
I'll see them.
Please, and
I'll see them.
The car wasn't drivable anymore.
Counterclaim.
I know, but the car took 2 weeks for fixing. I had no car.
You don't have a counterclaim, sir. You don't have a counterclaim. If you had a counterclaim, I would hear you. But you don't have a counterclaim. You didn't file one. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So there's no reason for you to tell me about what your troubles are. I believe that you had expenses over and above it. I would entertain it if you had a counterclaim, which you don't.
Yes.
Ms. Andrade, you don't come to court without insurance and ask for
I have insurance now, Your Honor.
Your case is just... You didn't have insurance on the date of the accident.
Your Honor.
Ms. Andrade, you didn't have insurance on the date of the accident. I'm not helping.
But this is not, he's charging me for something that it... No. Your Honor, please.
Courts don't help people who have no insurance. The case is over.
Fair. It's
done.
not fair what he's doing to me.
We're done.
I need you to help me,
We're
please.
done.
Ma'am, this case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And on the next Judge Judy, she got in a tangle with her former salon.
You filed the restraining order against her because she threatened to put a gun to your head.
Next Judge Judy.
What happened is that I had just purchased my insurance from a previous insurance.
I already had the insurance, and beside that, I paid $200
Sent me hard copies by mail, which I never received.
to fix my car, and I hadn't car for 2 weeks.
So when I called, they said my insurance was canceled for non-payment.
Also, I had emotional distress about this.
There's no damage to his car, just a little scratch.
I didn't get any money. The body shop received that amount to fix the car.
The damage is in my car, which I haven't been able to fix yet.
We need all of us to have an insurance no matter what.
A landlord stacked up his renters.
$600 is what you charged.
6 beds in one room, 5 beds in another.
Now a tenant piles up her complaints.
We have no fire escapes in our room. I was constantly cleaning. There are pictures of me here. Here's one of him illegally dumping.
Are you finished now?
Yeah.
If you move into a place where there are 6 bunk beds, it's not going to be a happy situation.
This is Judge Judy. Renee Baca is suing her former landlord, Kenneth Crawford, for the return of rent, the balance of her security deposit, fraud, and pain and suffering.
Judge, this is case number 208 on the calendar in the matter of Bach. Ladies, have a seat, please.
Mr. Crawford, what kind of a residence do you have where you rent rooms?
I have a residence that houses rooms for usually international folks who come here to train for dancing. I'm a professional choreographer, and I lived in Japan, so that's where I began the business. I'm sorry.
Do you live in the house?
I do live in the house.
Is it a private house?
No, it's not a private house.
What is it?
Like a hostel, but mainly geared towards entertainers. I lived in Japan for some time, and I was out there struggling.
Just I don't.
Okay.
I don't. Listen to me. I don't care.
Okay.
Not that I don't care to hear your life story. That's
Okay.
not what this program is about.
Okay.
For that, you go on somebody else's program. Here, I care about what she's suing for, which a lot of which is nonsense, but she wants the return of her deposit. Tell me what this hostel looks like. Does it look like an apartment house? Does it look like a private house? Does it look like a condo? What does it look like?
I have pictures here, Your Honor, and it's a single-family dwelling.
Okay.
Yes.
So, well, that's an answer. I'm going to get to an answer. It's a single-family dwelling.
Yes.
That has how many bedrooms?
It has 4 bedrooms. 1 is my private, and 3 are for other tenants, too.
Okay. Doesn't have 6 bedrooms. One has 6 beds.
6 beds, sorry, yes. 6 beds in one room, 5 beds in another, and 2 in another.
Those 13 beds, if all occupied, are all occupied by unrelated people.
Yes.
That's a yes.
Yes.
Now, is your private house zoned for that?
As far as I know, yes.
For you to
I
have
do pay
13,
taxes.
well, I know you pay taxes, but when you have 13 unrelated people that you rent part of a room for, there usually is a license that you require that requires certain inspections.
Okay.
Just answer the question. I assume you have no such license, nor was your dwelling ever inspected to have multiple tenants in each room.
Correct. It has not been.
So the plaintiff answered an ad for a bed for $600, which is what you charged for a bed, according to what I read, a bed in the bedroom that has bunk beds in it, and was occupied by how many people when she occupied that room?
2.
Herself and one other, or herself and 2 others?
There were 2 other people there. When she came in, she would make 3. Yes, there were 4.
While she was there?
Yes, 4.
So during the time she was there, your income from that room alone was $2,400 a month.
Correct.
Now, were there people occupying the bedroom that had 5 beds?
I don't think so. I don't recall. It's been really slow since COVID.
Was anybody occupying the room where there were 2 beds?
Yes, Mr. Inez.
One person?
One person.
And how much was that person's rent per month?
$750 per month.
So in total, you were receiving $3,150 in rent from those tenants in a only partially, according to you, occupied situation.
Yes.
Not bad. Plaintiff lived there for 3 months, Miss Baca. So you...
4 months, ma'am. I'm sorry.
I'm giving... Well, no, she moved in, according to her, on August 24th.
Right.
And she moved out on November 27th. So she lived there September, October, and November.
You are correct, ma'am. Sorry.
Did she pay rent for September, October, and November?
Yes.
And she gave you a security deposit of $110?
Yes. Incorrect. I returned $60, and I have the proof here and the cash.
Okay. Did he return $60, Miss Baca, or $30?
I believe it was $60 after I looked at the Cash App return.
Okay, so that you were mistaken here. So he kept only $50.
I believe so, yes.
Now, I'm going to give you, Miss Baca, less than 2 minutes to tell me why you lived there, you left, you didn't like it. I wouldn't have liked it either, living in bunk beds with 3 strangers that I didn't know. So I wouldn't have liked it. And you didn't have a written lease with him, I assume. Is that right?
I didn't have a lease.
So you can move whenever you want. You're suing him for $5,000, which is money for the return of rent, deposit, fraud, pain and suffering. And what I'm going to tell you is I have an egg timer on my hand. You're a grown-up woman. If you don't like where you're living, you move out. And if you move into a place where there are 6 bunk beds where you're going to share a room with 3 strangers, you should know that it's not going to be a happy situation.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your timer has started.
Okay, so I met him through an ad that he had, a false ad.
I don't care. Just a second. I don't care how you met him. You lived there for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And you were in a bind when you took the room. That's not his fault.
I was homeless.
And you lived there for 3 months.
Yes, Your
And you
Honor.
lived there for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So far, he's going to have to explain to me why he kept $50 of your security deposit, not $5,000. This is not door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3, Miss Baca. This is not a huge payday for you. You lived in a place, so I'm sorry, I'm eating into your time. Tell me where $50 becomes $5,000.
Well, I got assaulted, Your Honor, by one of the roommates. The houses do have security throughout the entire house. I asked him for the surveillance tape. He denied me that, so I don't have evidence of physically getting assaulted. Within that time as well, we had no fire escapes in our room. We had an ad for a maid. I was constantly cleaning, and there are pictures of me here cleaning constantly. I got a sty in my eye due to the compound powder that was from the maintenance man that also lived in the house. And these are all the photos that I have. Here's one of him illegally dumping. I had to deal with harassment from the maintenance man, who also left his discharge papers for methamphetamines when my building manager had given him a job to paint and simple task. He's also sending me harassment with texts and pictures that say, and as well, one of my computers was damaged by a roommate for having food and beverages in the bedrooms that we were not supposed to have. So Kenneth told me that I had a safe place to move into. I saw this place. I thought it was fantastic. He told me I could do my artwork. He even gave me a separate space in the laundry room because of all the maintenance work that had been done. My friend here, who's a witness, had used this room with one of the roommates I moved in, who was a photographer. She does a little bit of modeling. He took some pictures of her. A paper was left in the studio, and he didn't give me warning not to use the studio. He just told me I wasn't allowed to use it anymore at all. So considering I had moved in for the creativity of what the house offered, that was then denied to me because of a piece of paper being left in the room. Mind you, I did bring 3 people of my own that have been giving him rent to stay there in the house as well. They asked for a safe place to live, and I recommended him, and we were all there.
Are you finished now?
Yeah.
Good, great. Now you're going to tell me why you kept her $50.
For infractions for not cleaning her dishes. They're all written here in the email.
You're telling me that you punished her by keeping her $50.
Oh, not just for that. I'm sorry.
Because she broke your house rules. That's the first thing you said to me, which would be the most important thing. So the most important thing is she broke the house rules.
She broke the house rules.
Is that right?
Correct, ma'am.
What else? Anything else?
Besides breaking multiple house rules, no. They was all a combination of that. Clogging the toilet. Her friend, I didn't see the friend, not returning the key, giving away property at her checkout. I have it all in the email. She did eventually.
I know.
Yeah, okay,
No,
I'm sorry. I'm going on. I'm sorry.
You're going on, and don't go on with nonsense.
Yes, ma'am.
Is the reason that you kept her security deposit because she didn't follow the house rules?
Correct.
And that was the only reason?
Yes, correct.
Good. Then your counterclaim for $3,000 is dismissed.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you talk about other kind of damages, which is all nonsense.
Yes.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $50. Thank you very much. We're finished.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Kenneth is a fraud. Sleepy Downstairs is a fraud. The roommates there are frauds.
I'm happy with the judgment. $50 is $50.
He has favorites. And obviously I came here to get justice, and I'm just thankful that Judge Judy knows what she's doing.
Oh, I think Judge Judy, she was great, candid, to the point.
I think that he's petty, and anybody else that would see this case would understand what I'm saying.
I provide a service that allows people who are entertainers, who are struggling, who are going through transitions in their life.
He has lock boxes on air conditioning, so you can't even use that.
Now, there's a lock on the air conditioning because she had an argument over 3 degrees with the roommate.
I've moved on to better places.
If you're 38 years old and you need to share a room with 6 other people, more than likely there's something going on in your life, and it's not for me to judge. I've been there.
All parties in the matter of Don versus Moore. Step to the podium, please.
Brian Don is suing fellow motorist Francis Moore for ramming his vehicle when he pulled out of his spot in a grocery store parking lot.
Mr. Don, you and the defendant were in a Trader Joe's parking lot. This incident happened, this automobile accident happened on the 31st of October of this year.
Correct.
And according to what I read in the papers, I'm not quite following the events from what you and the defendant both describe in both your complaint and answer. The long and short of it is you each claim that the other is responsible for an automobile accident, and you were both parked.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He initially hit my back door, and as he was turning right, that scratch or the damage extended to my front door.
I'm not actually sure. I think you were probably both being a little too stupid.
Brian Don claims fellow motorist Francis Moore was at fault for an accident in a grocery store parking lot. Francis is countersuing for his insurance deductible.
Okay. Do either of you have a photograph of where you were parked or a diagram of where you were parked?
I do. I have a diagram sketch.
Okay. Do you have a photograph?
Yes, I
do.
I put it on
I'd like to see a photograph.
It's right here.
Okay. Would you, Mr. Moore, one of you was parked in a spot where there was a divider so that nobody could park right next to that car. And that would be is that a white Lexus?
Yes. Yes, that's mine.
Whose car is that?
That's mine.
That's your car?
Mr. Moore's, right.
Okay. And the car next to that car is your car. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
Okay. And you were both backed into your spots?
Yes.
Correct.
Or had you pulled... Did you back into your spot?
Correct. I backed into my spot.
Did you back into your spot?
I don't remember. I could have pulled forward, or I remember.
Okay. Because sometimes if there's no car in front of you, you can just pull in
and
to
that's,
the space
that's what I try to
so
do.
that you can pull out to...
You don't have to back out.
Okay. Got it. So why don't you start, sir? You and your girlfriend, according to you, were leaving Trader Joe's. And you, sir, were leaving the parking lot where Trader Joe's is. And you were also leaving.
Correct.
Correct?
We came out simultaneously almost.
Okay. So why don't you tell me what happened, sir?
So we had both of our vehicles backed into the spot.
The little car...
Yep. I had the silver vehicle. I was pulling forward. And as I was pulling forward, the defendant's vehicle pulled forward as well and struck me on the right side of the vehicle. The photos of the damage and the potential impact on my vehicle will clearly show that I was fully in the aisle at the time, so I had the right of way, and he should have yielded to me because he had struck me on the passenger side rear door, and because he was also turning right, that scrape extended to the passenger side front door as well. And I have photos of the damage to my vehicle to show that.
I'd like to see your photographs.
So there's a close-up shot of the damage. As you can see, the initial impact was against the passenger side into
passenger side front door.
Rear door. The first impact was against the passenger side rear door, and then extended to the front door.
Where is the damage to the defendant's car?
The left front bumper.
May I see it? Do you have a picture of his damage?
Yep.
May I see it, please? Okay. you had full coverage on your car, so your counterclaim is for the deductible that you had to pay, the $500 deductible. You want to tell me your version of how this accident happened, sir?
He
has damage to the side of his car.
Correct.
And you have damage to the front of your car. His car didn't slide into yours.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You had an accident. Did you have insurance?
I had insurance. I removed collision coverage because of the age of the car, and I had a buyer who was going to purchase the car as well, but turned it down after the damage.
Okay, well, that's too bad. Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Brian Don claims fellow motorist Francis Moore was at fault for an accident in a grocery store parking lot. Francis is countersuing for his insurance deductible.
Okay, go ahead.
Forward and turned right in front of me. You said it properly, Judge, when you said that. You kind of looked at it, and it didn't make sense the way he said it, even to the insurance people, that it didn't make sense that, first of all, I hit his front door. He was in front of me at an angle, about a 30-degree angle or so. So he pulled forward and pulled in front of me and hit me, and you can see that he was here.
Well, but what I don't understand, actually, Mr. Don, is how, maybe I'm not processing it, how he would have hit your rear passenger door and then gone into the front door. That is what I'm not understanding from your story.
So,
Mr. Don, that's
so I was turning right when I was exiting my parking spot. So I was in the aisle at the time when he pulled forward, and he was also turning right. So when I was fully in the aisle, he pulled out, turned right, and he initially hit my rear door.
You mean he pulled? What you want me to believe is that, Mr. Moore, you were already in front of him.
Yes, I was.
If what you're saying is that he hit your rear first and then continued to the front, you had to be, and he's not backing up, so he's looking straight ahead.
Correct. I was in front of him.
He's looking straight ahead. I don't buy it, Mr. Don. Sorry, not buying it. Okay.
I have a witness here who can corroborate my statement as well.
Well, you have a witness. Is that your girlfriend who was in the car with you?
Yes.
If I brought her up, would she tell me the same thing that you told me?
She will verify my statements, yes. But that's how it happened.
I don't
know how I could have hit his car from my angle, right? Someone teach me how I could have hit his car from my angle. Unless
I don't know, but I don't understand. I don't understand, Mr. Don, how he could start out at the back of your car and then the damage started at the back passenger door and then continued to the front passenger door. I'm not following that logically.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, go ahead.
Your Honor, he was turning right as I was in front of him. So he initially hit my back door, and as he was turning right, his car slid further, and that scratch or the damage extended to my front door.
Fine. Fix your own car. Sir, fixed?
Yes.
Good. You have the bumper fixed?
Everything.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, I'm not actually sure. I think you were probably both being a little too stupid. And I'm not getting involved with it. If you didn't have collision on your car, that's your problem. You had an accident. Did you have insurance?
I had insurance. I removed collision coverage because of the age of the car, and I had a buyer who was going to purchase the car as well, but turned it down after the damage.
Okay, well, that's too bad. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. We're done here. Thank you very much. You still driving the car?
Yes, I am.
Good. Goodbye.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
You cooked your goose 10 minutes ago.
I don't eat goose.
You're an idiot. I don't know who's going to give you a job as an emergency service person. I wouldn't.
Let's pray you don't need CPR.
I wouldn't need it from you.
Next Judge Judy.
I clearly thought I had a slam dunk case.
She accurately saw what happened.
He suggests that we go our separate ways, which in my opinion implies automatic guilt.
The insurance companies will typically say the person who was coming out of the parking space is at fault. Well, we were both coming out.
Accidents happen.
On purposes don't happen, but accidents do.
It's the
with that money?
Took it to his bank like he instructed me to.
There were no deposits to the bank.
His assistant is afraid of the answer.
When he got incarcerated, I tried to tell him that I didn't really want to be involved with his criminal actions because I wasn't trying to be an accessory or anything else like that.
Was that the first time you've been incarcerated?
No, I've been incarcerated before.
This is Judge Judy. Thomas Brooks is suing his former personal assistant, Guy Harrell, for stealing money from him while he was incarcerated and for filing a false restraining order.
Your Honor, this is case number 24 on the calendar in the matter of Brooks versus Harrell. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated.
Mr. Brooks, it is your claim that the defendant who was in your employ somehow scammed you or embezzled you out of money.
Yes, ma'am.
The defendant said that he was working for you. He has a counterclaim. He says that you owe him money for wages. I got a few questions. You hired him, according to what I've read in your complaint, as an assistant to someone who has some sort of handicap condition. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is your handicap condition?
I was bedbound at the time I met Mr. Harold in 2017.
No, just a second. Let's go slowly. You were bedbound.
Yes, ma'am.
In what year?
2017. I found in a room and board facility.
Was the state awarding you any money, any funds for an assistant?
Negative. No. I had my own money.
From what?
I've had money that I've been saving up, and while I was incarcerated, I had money saved up, and I was living in a room and board.
Saved up from what?
From many years of Social Security that accumulated, plus I had money saved in Social Security back pay.
Okay, let's go slowly, Mr. Brooks.
Yes, ma'am.
From many years of Social Security. Now,
And
you don't look like you're old enough to collect Social Security, so you were on Social Security disability.
Yes, ma'am.
Starting when?
I've been on it for approximately 22 years.
And how old are you, sir?
I'm 58 of years.
According to what I read in both the complaint and the answer, you were incarcerated.
Yes, I was.
From when to when? This last time?
February 8th of 2018, I was arrested. I was released on the 15th of December of 2018.
So you were incarcerated for approximately a year?
Approximately a year, 10 months, ma'am.
Was that the first time you've been incarcerated?
No, I've been incarcerated before.
This last time that you were incarcerated, sir, what facility were you at?
Robert Presley Detention Center, Riverside County Sheriff's Department.
Were you in the hospital wing?
Yes, 7th floor medical, in my own cell.
During the time, 10 months?
Yes, ma'am. I always am.
Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you there pre-trial or post-conviction?
I was there from the date of arrest to the date of sentence to the date of my release.
So that you were sentenced?
Yes, ma'am.
So you were convicted?
Yes, ma'am.
Convicted. You took a plea?
Yes, ma'am.
To what?
Harassing phone calls and a threat and violation of a restraining order.
Was that the first time you were arrested on this restraining order?
Yes.
Immediately prior to this incarceration, when was the immediate time that you were arrested and incarcerated prior to this arrest in February of 2018?
2008, I was arrested at state prison. I went to state prison, released in 2015. I was released on AB 109 due to my medical condition. They placed me in a room board where I was living at the time. I'm Mr. Harrell.
Now, I'm going to give you, sir, unless I'm really interested in this, I would like you to tell me, in as short a period of time as possible, what money you think he took from you and how.
I submitted all the proof to you in your records, the copies of the accounts, the checks that he went and picked up from the bank under my name. He also collected 2 payments from the Superior Court Riverside in the amount of $500 and $1,500.
$1,000. They're both.
Don't interrupt him.
$1,500 payment was one. $500 payment was the second. That money was never provided to me either.
What money was that for, this $500 and $1,500?
I filed a small claim action against my former landlord, Wilma. I was awarded $3,800, but it was reduced to $2,000. I was in jail. Mr. Harrell went to the
what?
court. The harassing call, the threat, and the violation
No. Oh, was that against your landlord?
Negative, ma'am. That was a small claims action I filed prior to being arrested against my landlord for violating numerous code violations. I sued her in court. I won the judgment, but I was in jail at the second trial de novo, which he obtained illegally. Mr. Harrell went to the court, even though I filed a motion to the court that he did not want to go pick it up. On March 1st and April 2nd, he went to the court, picked up two
Who filed the motion for you? Who filed the motion for you?
It was done while I was out of custody. Before I got arrested, I filed
Who filed
I did, ma'am.
Personally, not with a lawyer. You personally did.
No lawyers are allowed, no.
What was the name of your landlord?
Wilma.
And what was the name of the victim in the case that the state had against you for violation of a protective order?
That was a person
of yours.
Negative. This was somebody that I had legal action against that works at the court that filed charges against me for violating and harassing.
Oh, no, just a second. This was another person that you filed a small claims court action against.
Court reporter.
I filed a...
Sheila.
Sheila does not matter. I filed a small claims action prior to being...
That I understand.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm asking you is, I asked you the name of the victim in the protective order.
There's two.
You said her name was Sheila. Sheila was a person that you had a business dealing with, a landlord, but not a social friend?
Negative.
She's a court reporter, ma'am, that he was suing because she didn't get him documents in time to appeal his eviction from the house with Castellanos.
So Sheila,
court reporter,
made an application for an order of protection because you were threatening or harassing her.
I was suing her.
That was granted.
Correct.
Just a second. That was granted. And then you were incarcerated for almost a year for violating that order of protection.
Well, along with other charges.
Just getting...
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. But the landlady against whom you were successful in getting a judgment for $2,000, where Sheila allegedly didn't get the minutes in time so that you could appeal. Am I getting that right?
No, that was a separate case, Your Honor. This was his illegal detainer case. Yeah, the legal detainer case is the case that she was the court reporter for, and because she didn't give him the report in time, his lawyer, which was the free clinic...
The transcript.
Yes, he couldn't appeal his case, therefore he was evicted.
When I was evicted, I took legal action against me.
And the person who evicted him was the person against whom he got this $2,000 judgment? Or
Correct.
was that another eviction?
That was the only eviction that I was involved in.
That was the only one?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you were working for him. Did you have an hourly wage or did you do just...
It was just a
per job?
A per task, right. Per task, I would get paid approximately $200 to $300 per task, whether it was filing paperwork for him or actually appearing on his behalf in court. Those were always like $300 to cover for the time and the travel.
How many times did you appear in court for him?
I lost track. Over approximately half to a dozen times. Most of the time it was just small claims. When he got incarcerated, that's when I tried to tell him that I didn't really want to be involved with his criminal actions because I wasn't trying to be an accessory or anything else like that. So that's where we're at.
Now, did you get from the court $2,000?
$1,000 payments in 2 installments.
$1,500 and one for $500.
Your Honor, I received the checks, and I was there at the hearing when they issued the amounts for the check.
And they were
$1,000 each.
$2,000.
Correct.
Now, on what date did you get that $2,000 check?
The first payment was...
Those two?
Yes, March 1st, I believe.
3/1 of this year?
Of 19?
18.
18.
Don't ask him.
I don't remember, Your
Don't
Honor.
ask.
So 18. March 1st.
Was he incarcerated at the time?
Yes, he was.
So it had to be March of 18.
Yes.
So that's $1,000.
Correct.
And when was the second check that you got?
April 2nd.
Of 18.
Correct.
What did you do with that money?
I took it to his bank. I took the checks to his bank, like he instructed me to. That's all I ever did when he had money that he needed deposited, was I took it to the bank and they handle it.
And you made a deposit in his name?
I just gave it to the clerk. I don't physically do any deposits. I just give them, he already arranges it.
Well, you can't just hand them, just a second.
Go ahead.
You can't just walk into a bank and hand them a check. There are little cubby holes.
Yeah.
You take out a slip.
I understand.
Or you have a slip already prepared.
He had
and
the
you
bank
hand
do that.
and they make a deposit. What?
He had the bank do that prior to my arrival. They handled all that stuff for him.
What's the name of the bank that handled this stuff?
Folded up shop. That's the best that I can determine.
What bank? What is the name of the bank?
I don't know the name. It's out
What
of
was the
business.
name of your bank, sir?
My bank was First National Bank of Southern California, ma'am.
And he sued them
Did you sue them?
Yes, ma'am.
Shh.
I'm sorry.
Did you sue them?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have a lawyer?
No, ma'am.
Did you sue them over this money?
I sued the tellers, but the thing is, there was no deposits made to my account at all.
Mr. Brooks.
Yes, ma'am.
In what year did you sue the bank?
It's still ongoing, ma'am. They're getting an attorney.
It's ongoing?
Yes, ma'am. See how they tried to get restraining orders
And
against
that,
me.
just a second, that case against the bank is still ongoing.
It's not
Is
against
that
the
what you
bank,
just said
ma'am.
to
It's
me?
against the bank employees, a couple of bank employees that were violating the credit union or policies. But they're trying to get a restraining order to this day. It's still ongoing on that.
Did it have anything to do with these
Negative.
deposits?
No, nothing at all, ma'am. There were no deposits to the bank.
I don't know that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
As of September 2019, which is after you were released, he's still asking you for payment.
I don't owe him no money. I have proof.
I didn't ask you whether you were owing him
Okay.
anything, sir.
Brooks says his former personal assistant, Guy Harrell, stole settlement money from him while he was in jail. Guy is countersuing for unpaid wages.
Now, Mr. Brooks, how many lawsuits have you filed within the last 3 years?
Total of 5 in 2 counties.
It's not true.
Total of 5?
Yes, ma'am.
In the last 3 years?
Yes, ma'am.
In the last 8 years, how many lawsuits have you filed?
I can't even answer that, to be honest with you.
More than
I've had different types of suits.
Shh. I'm just asking you, in the last 8 years.
I can't
You
tell you
just told
that.
me in the last 3, one of which you were incarcerated. So in 2 years, you filed 5 lawsuits. Prior to being incarcerated, for the immediate 5 years before you were incarcerated, how many lawsuits did you file?
I can't tell you that, honestly. I could say probably in the last 5 years, 4 years since I've been out of custody, maybe 5 or 6, to be honest with you. I can't really remember. I don't keep track of that.
I said prior to you going to jail. Prior to.
Probably 4 to 5, ma'am. I don't have the exact amount.
Mr. Harrell, you started to do work for him in 2017?
Correct, January.
Prior to that, do you know how many lawsuits Mr. Brooks had filed?
No clue whatsoever. I didn't even know anything about his legal issues until 2018 when he owned his AA and then Empire Cab, which they're still in business, but they mostly do non-emergency medical transport now. I got a random call from a customer, which was turned out to be Mr. Brooks. I want to say it was approximately around the 10th of January, 2017. Never had any prior dealings or information about him. I learned a lot in the years while taking him from other drivers. But his first call was come to his house. He handed me his debit card.
Okay, I got it. That's how you became involved with him.
Correct.
Now, how many times did you make deposits in his account?
Less than half a dozen.
And he got out of jail in December of 2019.
18,
Or
ma'am.
2018. When, for the first time, did Mr. Brooks accuse you of taking money
Never.
from him?
Never. Not until he tried to serve me, I guess, in March, but I never looked at the paperwork.
March of 2020?
I believe so.
Or March of 2000?
Of 20.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
you got out of jail almost 2 years ago. When, for the first time, did you ask Mr. Harrell for an accounting of any of this money?
Always.
Never.
Can he answer? He has never given me a receipt.
ahead.
I've asked for an accounting numerous times. I've also requested the county of Riverside to get nobody. He tells people what they need. I give him my debit card for whatever service he asks for. And he swipes the card and he puts in my PIN and my code.
All right. Mr. Brooks, when you got out of jail in December of 2018, did you continue to use Mr. Harrell's services?
Not at all. He wouldn't even pick me up from the jail to take me back to my room and board.
So is what you're telling me you have not seen Mr. Harrell from the time you went to jail until today?
No, I did not say that. I said I've not used his service. I have called him numerous times. He hangs up on me or tries to block my number. So I have asked him numerous times for receipts or accounting and the money.
No, I'm not asking you receipt or accounting, Mr. Brooks. I'm not asking you receipt or accounting. What I'm asking you is whether Mr. Harrell has done any work for you, any of these small jobs,
Negative.
since you got out of jail.
Nothing. He refuses.
Is that correct, Mr. Harrell?
Absolutely incorrect.
Well, when was the last time you did a job for Mr. Brooks?
The last correspondence officially that I have with him, where I'm actually still doing stuff for him, which was basically just doing either court documents, like affidavits for him, or actually showing up in court. The last refusal that I have...
Show me.
Okay. The last refusal that I have for him in an email.
All I want you to do is show me some evidence Miss has used your services since he's out of jail.
As of September 16, 2019, he's still trying to get me to do services for him when I emphatically tell him. You know, he keeps sending me documents. Okay.
Just
it's
don't
down
say
here,
anything.
Your Honor.
Let me read this.
This is my statement to him.
I see it.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You don't say anywhere that he owes you money.
He does owe me the money he stole from the court judgment and the bank.
I suggest, Mr. Brooks, you find something else to do other than sue people.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Thomas Brooks has accused his former personal assistant, Guy Harrell, of stealing money from him while he was locked up.
Okay, go ahead.
He keeps wanting me to work on his behalf. And I
Wanting
told him,
to.
Stop. I've already told you to contact me with payment, and then we'll continue to do business after that. But he couldn't get it in his head.
Wanting him to do work is one thing. Doing it is another.
I appeared at least 2 or 3 cases between the time of him being incarcerated and the time that I told him that I'm refusing to do work for lack of payment. And he just continues to send me...
Just a second.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Now, that's September 16th, Your Honor. I have another one from the 23rd.
Mr. Harrell wrote to you on September the 16th of 2019. Am I reading this right?
Correct.
I've asked you repeatedly, contact me by mail with a check, nothing else. Stop contacting me. What was that about?
He keeps thinking I owe him $4,500, and I don't owe him nothing. He's made a declaration to the court, and I have the statement showing he's been paid in full. I have his PayPal account screenshot and all the copies of the checks.
So as of at least that date, the 19th, he has something else to show me. As of September 2019, which is after you were released, he's still asking you for payment. He's asking you for a check.
I don't owe him no money. I have proof.
I didn't ask you whether you were owing him anything, sir.
He's asking for money.
I said he was still asking you for a check.
Yes.
Okay, let me see the next time, Mr. Harrell.
This is the emphatic denial from him on September 23rd, where he just listed all the threats and demands for me if I was going to come after him.
You mean that was for your request to him for money?
Just and for him to stop contacting me. And he sent me this long email about all the factors of which he wasn't going to pay me.
Well, Mr. Brooks doesn't say anything about him owing you any money.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, now, you're talking in this letter about his claim that you owe him money. You don't say anywhere that he owes you money.
He does owe me the money he stole from the court judgment and the bank. I have the copies of them. I'd like to submit my proof, please.
We're done. We're done. Mr. Harrell,
yes, Your Honor.
I would suggest you not do any more work for him. Do you understand?
I haven't, Your Honor.
Okay, good. And you haven't, according to this, in 2 years, right?
Approximately
you
since
told him to leave you alone.
June of 2019,
right.
Correct.
So in 2 years, yeah.
Can I show my exhibits,
I suggest,
please?
Mr. Brooks, you find something else to do other than sue people. Your case is dismissed. We're done.
That's fine, no problem.
The counterclaim, Your Honor?
Gone.
Counterclaim?
Gone.
So I'm not going to get paid?
I just answered you.
Okay, all right.
It's 2 years old. That's correct. Goodbye, both of you. We're done.
This case is concluded. Let's step out.
And on the next Judge Judy.
I just completely walked into the window with trash in my hand and fell back.
He was intoxicated.
You saw him fall.
I did, and he called his mom right away. She told him.
He's going to continue on this. He's not going to stop.
No, I'm not. I'll see what I got coming.
One of his lawyers told me when I first got involved with his criminal cases, I should run from this guy, not walk.
I had harassing phone calls. Yes, that's a misdemeanor.
Money when you're in business is key. I mean, I got tens of thousands of dollars from working from this guy.
And he takes $4,000 out of my account when I'm in jail.